Hi, my name's Eugene. I run aquabumps.com, which is a website, but it's also a fine art gallery in Bondi. I specialise in beach and surf photography. I shoot in the water a lot, so that means I swim with my camera and amongst the waves and shoot surfers, get into tubes and shoot them as well. I shoot a lot of moving things. Obviously, shooting surfing, you're dealing with things that are moving really fast. When you're shooting movement, it's really important that you have control over your shutter speed. Depending on what you're shooting is how fast you need to have the shutter speed set at. So if you're shooting something that's moving really fast and you want to freeze it, you've got to use like a shutter speed of like 1,000th or a 2,000th of a second. That's really fast. Now, keep in mind, you're going to need a fair bit of light to get a speed like that. You can't do that at dawn or just as the sun's coming up. You need a lot of light going down the lens. So sometimes when you're shooting fast shutter speed stuff, it kind of freezes the subject in a position that's not really natural and doesn't really tell the story. I actually really love a little bit of blur in the shot. So say you've got a hurdler hurdling over a hurdle, use a slower shutter speed, a 40th, a 50th or a 60th, something like that. Now if you go too slow a shutter speed and your subject's moving too fast, what will happen is it will just turn into a blurry mess, which is something that you don't really want. Something has to be sharp. When shooting movement, it's a good idea to shoot quite a few frames. It's quite tricky to nail it, so if you shoot a burst of 10 frames, for example, there's a good chance that one of them's going to be the one you want. So I use a Canon 1D Mark IV, which shoots 10 frames a second. That's probably one of the best on the market at the moment for capturing movement, because 10 frames a second, it's kind of close to video. You'll capture everything. You would nail the one shot that you want. It doesn't have to be the subject matter that's moving in your shot to create movement. You can create movement by actually just moving your camera. So we do this through things like panning, or just trying to do something abstract where maybe you twist the camera around and it creates some movement in the shot that way. Keep in mind you've got to use a slow shutter speed because otherwise you're going to move it really, really fast. But slow shutter speed's the easiest way to go. So your mission is to create an image with the confetti supplied to express some form of movement. Now, do something really interesting with the confetti. If there's not enough in that box, you can add to it. Tell us a story with confetti. Put it in a different environment, a new location, in different light. So good shots normally can tell a story just by looking at it. Basically, just do something unexpected. But just remember, the key thing is you have to show movement. So maybe before shooting the confetti, go out and experiment with the different shutter speeds available. So go shoot something at a really fast shutter speed, 1,000th of a second, 2,000ths of a second. Maybe get a mate to run around the backyard using a slow shutter speed, see if you can pull off a pan. See what the blur is, how blurry it is and how fast he's moving. And experimenting will prepare you for when you're actually shooting the confetti. Different lighting when shooting this image can create a different mood in the photograph. Now, different times of day you get different light, obviously. So in the morning it's really warm and rich light. The confetti will probably be quite strong in colour, which is nice. The problem there is you probably don't have a lot of available light and you probably won't get the shutter speeds you need. Whereas the middle of the day, you'll have the sun overhead, you'll have a lot of light to play with, you'll be able to freeze things if you wanted a faster shutter speed. Now, you don't have to use natural light. You can use artificial sources like flash, and flash will help you in dimly lit circumstances to get a decent shutter speed. So when you're shooting this photograph, maybe just don't hold your camera at eye level and shoot what you see, because that's what everyone else sees. Maybe do something a bit more unexpected. I love the looking down angle from a tree or from a roof. So mess around with your different angles, create something that you don't normally see every day. So just to recap, you've got to shoot the confetti with a theme of movement. When you're working with confetti, it could be a little bit frustrating to work with because it's going to blow everywhere. Just go with it and try and clean up after yourselves. Don't leave confetti everywhere on the streets. Have fun and let's see some good images.